Here's a startling fact. When it comes to dating violence, Connecticut has a greater percentage of teens involved than the national average. Suzanne Adam is the Director of Domestic Abuse Services for the YWCA in Greenwich, and your agency is part of the Connecticut Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and you're here to help really raise awareness of this issue.
Absolutely. This month marks Teen Dating Violence and Awareness and Prevention Month, so I think it's really important that we raise awareness specifically about teen dating violence. We are wonderful at getting all the services available to people once they are victimized, but I think it's more important to catch people before the victimization actually happens.
Well, let's go back to the fact that Connecticut has a greater percentage of teens involved.
I think that comes back down to prevention and awareness. I think what we really need to do and what we're starting to do is create greater awareness for people to understand what teen dating violence is. There's been a great deal of focus on domestic violence and how adults are affected by this, and I think now that we're rolling back to help teens, preventing them not only having abusive relationships as a teenager, but not grow up into an abusive relationship as an adult.
So why is it that the teens don't seem to realize that they're not supposed to be in this kind of relationship, an abusive relationship?
I think the most important thing is that teens don't have experience with relationships. I think they very often minimize the red flags. They may have an internal instinct that feels that they were treated in such a way or spoken to in such a way that doesn't feel right, but they override that feeling with, it's my first experience, there may be puppy love, and very often they misunderstand the signs of jealousy. Jealousy is one of the biggest red flags of teen dating violence and abusive relationships, and most teens see jealousy as a sign of love. So it's really re-educating and creating awareness of what those signs are so you can have a healthy relationship.
All right, how does society play in this?
I think society plays a very large role. I think what we see on TV and what we see in the media really shifts and changes what our perception of what healthy relationships are. We may see more experiences of women being demeaned or talked down to and accepting those different types of actions happening to them versus standing up and saying that that's not okay.
All right, let's talk about how we can help these teens. Parents, big factor.
I think most important with parents is for parents to know, is to educate themselves. And prior to educating themselves, they really have to have those relationships with their teenagers, whether it's the parent themselves or is that adult in that child's life to be able to speak to, or is there a guidance counselor, is there a teacher, is there an aunt or an uncle, some trusted adult for this young person to be able to speak openly about their concerns.
So you need to be at the dining room table talking to these kids saying, hey, you should not be in an abusive relationship, and what's abusive, you got to tell them what that means.
I think more importantly also than just telling what abusive relationships is, what does a healthy relationship look like?
Right, exactly.
We all can recognize, oh, what's happening in the hallway or what happened in the student center and see that that doesn't look like. But if we train and teach our young people to know what a healthy relationship is, respect, rapport, mutual understanding, we both get to decide what movie we see on a Saturday night. We both get to take a walk together, and I get to go left and you get to go right. Those are healthy relationship moments, and I think addressing that goes through the back door.
We have less than 20 seconds. What are some of the signs that it is an abusive relationship?
Signs is jealousy, mind games, making a person feel guilty about what's going on, possessiveness, destruction of property, birth control, sabotage. As far as teens, what parents can look at are their mood swings. Are they not doing things that used to be important to them, changing their activities? Are they making excuses for their partner?
Great advice. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.